Hi there, Teresa McGallagher from the Miracles Tribe. Thanks for joining me on this Facebook Live or on the replay if you are watching the recording. I thought I'd come on Facebook today to talk about what is holding you back from your dreams. Do you even know what your dreams are? And if you do you know why you're not realizing them? Because it is the destiny and the mission of every person here on earth to manifest their dreams. That's what you are here for. That is why you have dreams. You have different dreams from everybody else. The things that you like aren't the things that everybody else likes. So you have a very specific purpose, and you can tell what your purpose is by following your desires, by following your interest. So I thought I would talk about this today because recently my husband and I have been in the process of building our home, retirement home in Pennsylvania, a home that we plan to retire to, not a nursing home. And it has gotten so much interest and engagement. I could not believe how many people are commenting and liking and following the build process. That seems to be of real interest to people to see how the house is put together and how it is unfolding. And what is truly amazing to me is that several days ago, there was just a piece of land there, a piece of grass in the middle of nowhere, really, small town, rural Pennsylvania. And now, within days, boom, there's a big house there. It's incredible. The reason that process happened so quickly was because we decided to go with a modular home. There's not a lot of construction industry in Southwest Pennsylvania. And we got frustrated trying to find a builder. So we decided to do business with a company that builds the house inside a factory in modules and then delivers the modules out to the land and then puts them all together like Legos. And so very quickly, within 24 hours, we went from not having anything there to suddenly having a house in what seemed to be an overnight process. And obviously, it didn't happen overnight. So that's one of the things I want to talk about because I had a really cool synchronicity happen last week when I was reading a book by Dr. Wayne Dyer. It's his autobiography called I Can See Clearly Now. And I read a quote in that book that I thought was so inspirational, I wanted to copy it down and remember it. And the quote was from the Bible, from Hebrews chapter 11, I think verse 2. And I'm going to paraphrase, but what the quote said was something like, everything that is seen in the visible world comes from the invisible. So first you have the invisible, and then you have the visible. First you have the idea, which is invisible. You have the concept, and then that manifests into the visible, which is the form that you see in this 3D world. So nothing starts in the 3D world. This is just a world of effects. It's not the cause. There's no cause happening here. The cause is happening there in the world of ideas, in the world of your imagination. And here's the synchronicity that happened. I wrote that quote down. I put it on my desk. And that same day, my mother-in-law came home from church with her church bulletin, something she has never done before in the year that I have lived with her, and showed me the quote that was on the front of the bulletin and said, I thought this would really interest you. And it was the same quote from Hebrews 11:2 that said that everything comes from the unseen to the seen, from the invisible to the visible. So if you're trying to make something happen in the world, if you're trying to make your dreams come true by doing things in this world of form, you're just going to frustrate yourself. That's not where things happen. That is the end point. So the beginning point is in the mind when you have the idea or you conceive something and you think, oh, wouldn't it be cool to get this job? Or wouldn't it be cool to have that kind of relationship? Or wouldn't it be neat to go on some kind of a trip or whatever that thing is? And then you think about it and it takes shape and it takes form in your mind first before it can unfold out into the world of form. That's the starting point. Don't waste your time monkeying around with, moving chairs around on the Titanic out here. That's just a waste of your time and energy. Put your time and your energy and your focus into your vision for your dream and then watch to see how it unfolds, because you're not in charge of all of the steps in the process. Things will come together in magical ways that you could never have foreseen. So this property and this house that we are building in Pennsylvania was not my dream. It was never my dream ever to go live in a small town in Pennsylvania. This was my husband's dream, and actually it wasn't his dream to retire there, but it was his dream to own a big piece of property where he could go hunting. He's a big deer hunter, and fishing, and ride four-wheelers around and do outdoorsy boy types of things. I didn't grow up with any brothers. I can't relate to this at all, but that was his dream. And at one point, when our marriage wasn't doing so great back in 2004, he found this land online on a website for sale in Pennsylvania. We were living overseas at the time, and he decided that he wanted to buy it. And it was my dream to make his dreams come true. It was never my dream to own 100 acres in Pennsylvania or to build a house there, but it was my dream to have a good marriage and a good relationship with my husband. So I supported him when he decided to pursue that dream. And then we had the land for a long time, and we didn't do anything much with it. And then during that time, over a 20-year period, we were looking at house plans, and we were thinking about when we retired one day and what we would build and where we would build and what we would do. And then the process unfolded to where we are now, boom, have a house. So the point I want to make is the doing is not what is important. The thought is what is important. And then if you have a dream about something that you would like to do or experience, why aren't you pursuing it? What is holding you back? Because one of the things that really limits us in life is ideas that we've been taught when we were young about what we are not allowed to have or what we should not want. And they get like ingrained in your subconscious, and you don't even realize they're running the program. It's like a virus really in your computer programming that stops you from moving forward, moving ahead, and pursuing your dreams. So a lot of us were raised with this idea that we don't deserve better, that we only deserve so much, we should just be grateful with what we have, that, if we have something wonderful, we are somehow taking away from someone else, and that is simply not true. There is no lack and limitation in the world of imagination. And therefore, because that world is the real world, there is no lack or limitation in the world of form. Anything that you can imagine, conceive, or believe can manifest in the world of form. But if you believe that this is a world of lack and limitation, you will hold yourself back, because you'll think there's not enough to go around. If one person has more, another person has less, and then there's a lot of guilt that comes in with that, right? So I want you to think about how everything works in the world of nature, because this is the clearest example to us of how reality operates. Reality operates according to universal laws. And if you don't know those universal laws, you can go through life feeling like you don't understand how this thing works. You don't understand why life is so hard. You don't understand why every time you try to do something, you get tripped up, or somebody gets in your way and blocks you, or things seem to go wrong. It's because you don't understand the process. And once you understand the process, life becomes easy and things start to flow. So the process is, first, you've got to have the idea. And it doesn't have to be a special idea or an original idea. It's just whatever idea lights you up. Because the thing that lights you up is not the thing that's going to light somebody else up. My husband gets really excited about deer hunting and fishing. I could care less about deer hunting and fishing, but I like to see him happy and excited, so I support that. And then I do the things that interest me. And him doing his thing does not take away from me doing my thing. We each have our path to follow. So, going back to what I was saying about universal laws and what holds us back and nature. In nature, abundance is the rule. You plant a seed, and then that seed flowers, and then that flower produces, think about a dandelion. You get one flower, one yellow flower from a dandelion, right? And then it turns into that big white puffy thing with all those little parachute seeds on it, and you blow on that, And then you have a million seeds going out to plant a million more dandelions. And anybody who's ever tried to keep the dandelions out of their yard knows how they propagate. This is how everything in nature works. There's abundance and propagation, and there's plenty more where that came from. You start with a little bit, and it grows and it grows and it grows. There's no lack. There's no limitation. And that process that works in the world of nature with trees and flowers and plants, it works the same way with us as humans if we don't block ourselves. Nobody else out there can ever block you. You are the only one who can block yourself. So my spiritual practice, A Course in Miracles, says that the truth is no one's doing anything to you. You're only doing it to yourself. And it's about accountability. So what excuses are you telling yourself? I can't get promoted because my boss is mean. Or I can't get a better job because no one will give me a chance. Or I can't get the house or the car that I want. I can't afford it because all the rich people have all the money and they're not sharing. Whatever that story is, you need to look at that and ask yourself, where did I get that story from? And is it really true? And here's the acid test that you can use to determine if a story is true or not true. Only loving thoughts are true. Only positive, happy, cheerful, loving thoughts are true. Those are the only ones that are true. So any thoughts or beliefs that you have about how the world sucks, or how hard it is, or how there's suffering or tragedy, or blah, 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 that's keeping you from your dreams, those are excuses. You only have to deal with what is right here in front of you right now. You don't have to worry about what's going on the other side of the planet. That is not stopping you from spending your time and your energy on the things that bring you joy and spark desire in you and light you up. Follow that thread and you'll be amazed at how things unfold. So I'm going to give you an example that also has to do with housing, but from my life, from when I was young and when I was single 40 years ago. I was living in an apartment. I had my first job working for the government, and I was living in Maryland. And I didn't want to keep paying rent because I saw after 1 year that the rent was just going to keep going up every year, and I would just keep paying more money, and I would never own anything or have anything to show for it. So I got it in my mind that I was going to buy something. I wasn't making very much money. Actually, I was making $16,500 a year. That was a pretty good salary for a college graduate in those days, in 1982, I think it was. But I drove by this condominium development that was in the area where I wanted to be, and it was very appealing and attractive, and I thought, I'm just going to stop in and have a look around. And then I saw that they had a couple of units for sale, and I went and talked to them about it. Well, it turned out that they had been trying to sell all of the units for a while, ever since they started development. They only had 1 or 2 left they wanted to get rid of, and they wanted to be done with that project and move on. And what happened? I bought myself a cute little 1-bedroom condo with no money down and no closing costs. That would be impossible, seemingly impossible to happen today, but it happened to me. I moved right in, and I was only paying a little more than I had been paying in rent, but I got a place that I owned, and it came with a pool, and it came with a community center, and it was just ideal for me. And then later on, I ended up moving overseas and renting it out for years and years and years, and then finally, when I sold it, the housing market was at a fever pitch crazy high at that point, and I had already paid off most of the mortgage because I'd had it for so long, and I ended up making a huge profit off of that. And that money that I made off that condo enabled me to pay for things for the house that we're building now. So the point of my story is, this isn't a real estate story. The point of my story is I had an idea about what I wanted, and I followed that thread. I didn't stop and say, oh, it's impossible. I'm only making $16,500 a year. I can't afford a house. Nobody's going to talk to me, and stop myself before I even give myself a chance. I just saw a place that appealed to me, and I went to check it out. I didn't have any expectations about what was going to happen. I didn't have my heart set on things having to turn out a certain way in order for me to be happy. I was just following my curiosity and what interested me. So whatever it is that you want to do with your life, if you can figure out a way to follow that dream without it feeling heavy, without it feeling like a struggle, without you feeling like people are not supporting you or people are standing in your way, do whatever you can to follow that path, because your desires for yourself are God's desires for you. God wants you to be happy and to have the things that you want in life and to express the fullness of your potential here in this world in your life. And that's how you do it. Follow your heart, follow your dreams. Don't listen to the voices in your head that say it's impossible, because that's an ego voice. That is a voice that you heard from parents, grandparents, pastors, teachers, I don't know who, authority figures back in your past that got implanted into your system, and those are not true stories. Another thing that A Course in Miracles says is that one of the reasons that I don't do the things that I want to do for myself that are wonderful for me and that would make me happy is because I believe that I don't deserve it deep down. And that is a problem for almost all of us. We're taught from young children to be humble, to be modest, that we shouldn't ask for much, that we don't deserve it unless we work hard for it, unless we earn it, unless we show that we're better than other people somehow when we get rewarded. That's all nonsense. That is not how it works in reality. That is how it works in the ego world. And you can live in that world of competition and struggle and strife all your life. Go ahead. I did it for 30, 40 years, and it's no fun, and it is not the easy way, and it is not the fun way, and it is not the right way. You can tell the right way because you have a GPS in your body, in your system, that tells you when you're on the right path. When you're on the right path, you feel light. You feel loving, you feel kind, you feel joyful, you feel happy. That's the signal. That's the signal of your GPS going beep, 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 follow this thread. Beep, 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 go that way. Go the way that feels easy and light and happy. Follow that thing, and doors will open for you. Mark my words, try it. You don't have to believe me, try it. Try it and see what happens. Pick the thing that really interests you or that you love to do. Put some time and energy and effort into that, and then you'll see how opportunities start to come your way. People start showing up to help you and support you. If you spend your life waiting for other people to give you permission, you'll be waiting a long time. Everybody else is worrying about their own life. They're not worried about you. You take care of you. Love yourself. Be good to yourself. Be kind to yourself. All right, that's my message for today. Thank you so much for showing up. Great to see you every time, and love you lots. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.